Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to teach you a new chapter. It's called Respiration in Plants. I divided the chapter into two parts. The first part we will deal with what is respiration, what really happens during respiration in a plant, and the second half is all about some experiments which can come for your exam. Okay, so we begin with the first part of the chapter. Well, what is respiration? Just like photosynthesis, respiration is also one of the metabolic activities that take place in the plant body. Okay, now what are these metabolic activities? They are of two types. They are the anabolic activities and the catabolic activities. Now, by anabolic activities, it is a constructive process. Okay, all anabolic activities are constructive. They consume energy. You can take the simple example of photosynthesis in the case of plants. It is an anabolic process. Why it is anabolic process? Because it consumes, as you know, light energy and it makes up the glucose molecule. So it is a constructive process. Now we come to catabolic process, which is our respiration, the current topic of today. Well, it is a destructive process. It divides the glucose molecule. Okay, so it is a destructive process, and during this process, it gives out some energy in the form of ATP molecule. Hence, this respiration becomes a catabolic process. So I hope you all are clear about anabolic and catabolic processes. Okay, now we come to what is respiration and why does a plant require respiration? Okay, just as animals, you are aware that animals, human beings all require energy for various body activities. In the same way, plants also require energy. You might be thinking a plant that is stationary on the in the soil, why does it require energy? Well, it requires energy to make up the proteins. It has to make up the cell wall. Okay, so it requires energy to make the starch. It requires energy for absorbing the minerals from the soil. You have learned last year about the various processes. Okay, you've learned about active transport, the absorption of minerals and water from the soil. Okay, all this requires energy. Okay, so for that, all these purposes, it requires energy for making the cell walls of the plant cell. Plants obtain this energy by breaking down of the carbohydrates. From where do these carbohydrates come from? Came from the process of photosynthesis, one of the products of photosynthesis. Respiration is a catabolic process and it gives out energy. Okay, the next slide is about the equation for respiration. You have studied this in your lower classes. It's the equation of respiration, that C6H12O6. That is your glucose molecule which was produced by photosynthesis. It combines with oxygen, giving you carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Okay, you have to by heart this equation. Okay, this is the aerobic respiration, so this has to be by hearted. So this is glucose plus oxygen giving carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Now, what are the important characteristics of this respiration? Number one, it is a breakdown of glucose. Okay, now this glucose molecule, as you can see, it has broken down. So that is why we call it a catabolic process. It has broken down into what? It has broken down into carbon dioxide and water. And in this process, it has given out some energy. Now, when we show it by this general equation, it is just one equation, but actually there are two steps involved in this equation. Number one step is glycolysis. Now, what is the meaning of glycolysis? Is that this glucose molecule is converted into pyruvate. Pyruvate is also referred to as pyruvic acid. Okay, so it is the breakdown of glucose to give you pyruvate. That is the first step. And where does this take place? It takes place in the cytoplasm of the plant cell. Okay, you had studied in your chapter on cell biology about cytoplasm of the plant cell. Okay, it takes place in the cytoplasm of the plant cell. Now, the second step, that is once you get the pyruvate, this pyruvate is again broken down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. This ATP is the energy currency of the cell. Okay, so this process takes place in the mitochondria. Okay, now this process is more important. Why is it more important? Is because this releases more energy. Okay, so this process is more important and gives out more energy. So from this process, you get this process, and this process gives out more molecules of ATP. So glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm. The Krebs cycle takes place in the mitochondria. This can be asked in the exam, the site where this takes place. Okay, the location. Now I put a diagram which will explain to you clearly about this. This is not there in your textbook. Please note. Okay, this is just for your for your understanding. I put it over here so you can really see it diagrammatically what happens. Well, this is taking place in the cytoplasm. The first part, that is glycolysis. What is glycolysis? A glucose molecule getting converted into pyruvate or pyruvic acid. Now, during this process, the energy molecules that are given out is two molecules of ATP. Now, this Krebs cycle is taking place in the mitochondria. Remember the sausage-shaped thing that you do for your mitochondria inside the cell, inside the plant and animal cell. And we also refer to the mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell. Now, you know why it is called the powerhouse of the cell, because it stores energy in the form of ATP. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Okay, now this is taking place over here, and the byproducts of the Krebs cycle are carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so this is releasing 36 molecules of ATP. That is why during the photos of during respiration, one mole of glucose gives 38 molecules of ATP. So from where we got the 38 was 36 ATP plus 2 ATP giving 38, total 38 ATP during from one molecule of glucose. Okay, now each breakdown is due to a particular enzyme. Now this process takes place due to the process of respiration also takes place because of a particular enzyme. The energy liberated is a catabolic process. I already told you that during this process energy is given out. So that is why it is called as a catabolic process. Energy is liberated is not in the form of heat but in the form of ATP, which I told you is the energy currency of the cell. The full form of ATP can be asked adenosine triphosphate. So here I have put down from your textbook only. This will explain to you the breakdown of food. Okay, how it breaks down. So here you have glucose. Okay, glucose getting split into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Okay, now this energy I told you is in the form of ATP. Now this ATP, when it is consumed by the body, it is getting converted into ADP. Okay, there is a minus of one phosphate. Okay, so one phosphate molecule is lost. So ATP becomes ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate. Okay, now when it gets more energy, again this ADP gets reconverted to ATP. More ATP is produced. Again this ATP gets converted to ADP. Again more ATP is produced. Again it gets used up as ADP, and then this process continues. Okay, so that is about the how this ATP getting converted to ADP. Okay, so how the energy is used up. Again more energy is obtained. Okay, more molecules of ADP are released. Okay, again it gets converted. Okay, so this is a diagrammatic representation to show the how the energy is used up, which is liberated during the process of respiration. So here I have put that 1 mole of glucose gives 38 molecules of ATP. I explained to you how you got the 38. That is from 36 plus 2 molecules. Okay. Now we move on to the importance of ATP. Why is it called the energy currency of the cell? Okay, all activities inside the plant body requires energy, and the immediate source, how does it get immediately the energy? It is in the form of ATP. That is why this ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, is rightly called as the energy currency of the cell, because whenever it requires, it is readily available. It is already stored over there. So that is why it is known as the energy currency of the cell. Give reason can come. Okay, now we learn about the parts of the plant. Okay, which all parts of the plant are involved in the respiration process. Number one is the stomata. Okay, these are the small openings which you have always been learning from your lower classes, the small openings, and more are found on the undersurface of the leaf. Okay, So these are present in the leaves. Number two is the lenticels in the stem, small openings on the bark or on the trunk of the plant. And the third is the general surface of the roots. Okay, so all the surface of these roots contain small openings, and these openings are the site for respiration. Okay, from where the oxygen can enter into the plant body. Okay, now the importance of plowing in the soil. Now, why does a farmer has to plow the soil, or how does the plowing increase the fertility of the soil? That is because of respiration also. Plowing or tilling creates tiny air spaces. So there is air space between the roots. Okay, between the roots over here, there is air space. And when the farmer plows the soil or tills the soil, what happens is he is aerating the soil. Okay, but if the water is if the farm is filled with water, okay, it is waterlogged, or it is the soil is very sticky, okay, then there is no gap for the oxygen to go inside. Okay, such plants will not grow properly. Okay, so this very important process that the farmer does, plowing of the soil, you can be asked. Okay, so if soil is waterlogged or compact, then soil will not have air spaces, and that affects the respiration. So main thing is, for the respiration it requires the air space, and this air space is provided by plowing or tilling of the soil. GR question. Okay, now we understand what happens during the night and what happens during the day in a plant body. Okay, so I put it down with this diagram here. You will understand better. It's not there in your textbook. Okay, so now this side is during the daytime. Now during the daytime, what happens is, as you have learned from your lower classes, photosynthesis takes place. What is photosynthesis? Taking in carbon dioxide, giving out oxygen. Now, do you think at the night time this is not happening? No, it's not happening during the night time. But during the daytime, is respiration taking place? Yes, respiration does happen during the daytime also. But during the daytime, photosynthesis is more prominent. Okay, so during the night time, what is happening? There is no photosynthesis. So there is no throwing out of oxygen, there is only throwing out of carbon dioxide. Okay, so that is the reason why we are advised not to sleep under the tree at night. Okay, if you sleep under the shade of a tree at night, what will happen is there is no photosynthesis taking place, there's only respiration. So the plant will take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Okay, and we need oxygen for our respiration. Okay, so it will not be a healthy thing to sleep under the tree during the night. So plants during the daytime give out oxygen. Part of this oxygen is used in respiration, and the rest of it is diffused out. The carbon dioxide produced serves as a raw material for the respiration. So whatever carbon dioxide is given out, okay, this produced acts as a raw material for the respiration. At night, the leaves obtain oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Hence, we should not sleep under the tree at night. However, sleeping under the tree during a hot midday, it's a good thing to sleep under the tree under a hot midday. Why? Because we will get the shade of the tree, as well as we will get the coolness due to transpiration. Okay, so it's advisable to sleep under the tree during the day, but not at night. GR question can be asked. Now differentiate between respiration and burning. This also can be asked. So what is respiration? What is burning? Okay, what is respiration? Takes place in a series of chemical steps. We just learned the two chemical steps involved. Now this burning, it does not require just one step. You can burn a matchstick in just one step. Carried out by enzymes, as I told you, but these are carried out. You have to supply heat, then you can burn a matchstick. Biochemical process, okay, it is taking place in the body with the help of chemicals. Okay, and also, so it is called as a biochemical process. This is a physicochemical process because it takes place, there might be a change in the physical properties of the substance, like burning of paper, the physical property of the thing gets changed. Energy is liberated as ATP and heat, as I told you, and here the energy is liberated in the form of heat and light. No light energy produced, and here it is light energy is produced. It is a cellular process. It takes place inside the cell. Okay, cellular means taking place inside the cells of the plant. But burning, it does not take place inside a cell. It occurs at body temperature. Okay, the plant doesn't become hot or something. It takes place in the same temperature. But burning, you require a high temperature to burn something, right? So it requires a high temperature. Okay, that's all for today. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you liked it. Thank you so much. Next time I'll come with the second part of the same chapter. Thank you all. Take care. Bye.